Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Cowboys Nation. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's been making waves across the NFL universe, especially among those of us who breathe everything Dallas Cowboys. You know how the season has unfolded so far, right? We've seen moments of brilliance, some setbacks, and a lot of questions about what's next. But now a new rumor is stirring the pot, one that could significantly impact the Cowboys' future. I'm talking about the potential trade scenario involving none other than Maxx Crosby, the Las Vegas Raiders' defensive end. Yes, you heard that right. The same Maxx Crosby who has been a thorn in the side for offenses all season long, who's been a staple of that Raiders' defense, and who, let's be honest, has been linked to the Cowboys' interest for quite some time. But what's the real story behind this? Could Dallas actually pull the trigger? And what would that mean for our team's trajectory in 2025 and beyond? Well, buckle up, because we're about to explore this story in incredible detail. First, let's set the scene. The NFL trade deadline in 2025 has just passed, and as we all watched with bated breath, the Cowboys were among the teams rumored to be eyeing notable players. The buzz was intense, speculation about who might be on the move, who might stay put, and which teams were looking to shake things up for a playoff run. Among those names, Maxx Crosby emerged as a hot topic, not just because of his production, although that's significant, but because of his contract situation, his on-field impact, and the strategic fit for Dallas. The rumors initially pointed towards a strong interest from the Cowboys, who have been seeking to bolster their pass rush and defensive front, especially after some inconsistent performances earlier in the season. But as often happens in the NFL, deals don't always materialize, and this one was no different. Despite the chatter, nothing concrete came out of the negotiations, and Crosby remained a Raider. Now, here's where it gets interesting. According to reports from renowned NFL insider Jay Glazer, Crosby was told by the Raiders that he would be shut down for the final 2 games of the season due to ongoing injury issues. Imagine that. You're a player who's been battling through injuries all season, and then your team informs you that you're being benched for the last 2 crucial games. That's a tough pill to swallow. Crosby obviously is not just any player. He's a competitor who wants to finish strong, especially with his contract situation on the horizon. The fact that he vehemently disagreed with the decision to sit out highlights his desire to compete and make an impact, regardless of the circumstances. It signals a level of frustration, and that frustration has, unsurprisingly, fueled speculation about his future. Could this be the beginning of a change? Is Crosby's dissatisfaction with the Raiders' handling of his injury a sign that he's open to new opportunities? This is where the narrative takes an intriguing turn. Rumors have started circulating again, suggesting that Crosby's name might soon be floated around as a potential trade piece once again. And honestly, if you're the Cowboys, you should be paying close attention. Why? Because Crosby is exactly the kind of player who can make an immediate difference on your defense. His ability to rush the passer, evidenced by his 10 sacks this season even while playing at less than full health, is exceptional. Over his first 7 seasons, Crosby has amassed a staggering 69, 5 sacks, establishing himself as one of the premier edge rushers in the league. When you look at his impact beyond just sacks, his run defense is also impressive. According to Pro Football Focus, his grade in run defense for 2025 is 78.7, which ranks as the 5th highest among all defensive ends. That's not just a pass rusher, that's a complete defensive end who can contribute in multiple facets of the game. But let's get into the specifics of the contract situation, which is arguably what makes Crosby such an attractive trade target for Dallas. His contract is considered extremely tradable because of its structure. The Raiders' side has only $5 million in dead money remaining on his deal, which means that moving him wouldn't be a huge financial burden. On the other hand, Crosby's contract includes a guaranteed $30 million in 2026, but that's a manageable figure for a team like Dallas, especially considering the cap space they have and their aggressive approach to building a championship-caliber roster. The rest of his deal includes team options worth $28 million, which give the Raiders some flexibility moving forward. Essentially, both teams have incentives to consider a trade. Crosby wants to compete and win, and the Raiders might be looking to rebuild or cut costs, especially if they believe a change of scenery could benefit both parties. Now, if the Cowboys do decide to pursue Crosby, it won't come cheap. The likely cost would be one of their 2 first-round picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, along with an early pick in 2027. That's a significant investment, no doubt. but we've seen how much a player like Crosby can transform a defense. His presence on the line could alleviate pressure on the secondary, improve our run defense, and create more opportunities for the pass rush, especially when paired with other talented players like Micah Parsons. Imagine the possibilities. Opposite Micah Parsons, Crosby could form a formidable duo that offenses would have to game plan around. Would the Cowboys be willing to part with such valuable assets? That's the big question, because in today's NFL, elite pass rushers are worth their weight in gold, and Crosby is undoubtedly one of the elite. Speaking of his on-field performance, let's break down what Crosby brings to the table. Despite battling injuries, he's managed to be a disruptive force. His 10 sacks this season are a testament to his talent and resilience. But beyond the numbers, Crosby's game film shows a player with exceptional technique, relentless effort, and a high motor. He's adept at setting the edge, rushing the quarterback with a variety of moves, and maintaining discipline against the run. His ability to win one-on-one battles is top-notch, and he's also a smart player who understands how to exploit offensive line weaknesses. The impact of adding Crosby to the Cowboys' defensive front could be immediate and profound. It's not just about adding another sack artist. It's about elevating the entire pass rush unit, forcing quarterbacks to make quicker decisions, and creating turnovers. Now, considering the historical context, the Cowboys have historically prioritized a strong, disruptive defensive line. Remember the legendary days with DeMarcus Ware and Greg Ellis, or more recently, the emergence of Micah Parsons as a game-changer. The addition of Crosby could be a continuation of that tradition, building a dominant front that strikes fear into opposing offenses. It's also worth noting that the Cowboys have been quite active in rebuilding their interior defensive line, with Quinnen Williams standing out as a key piece. Adding Crosby alongside Williams and other defensive linemen could give Dallas an elite front seven that's among the best in the league. That would significantly enhance their chances in the playoffs, especially as teams like the Eagles, 49ers, and Chiefs are stacking up formidable defenses of their own. Speaking of the 2025 season, Dallas has had its share of ups and downs. The team's overall record, their offensive consistency led by Dak Prescott, and the emergence of players like Malik Davis have kept fans hopeful. But defensively, the team has sometimes struggled to generate consistent pressure, especially when facing mobile quarterbacks or teams with solid offensive lines. The addition of a player like Crosby could be the catalyst needed to turn the defense from a good unit to a great one. That's what separates playoff contenders from those that fall short. Game-changing players who can impose their will and make decisive plays in crucial moments. Crosby's ability to perform in high-pressure situations would give the Cowboys a new level of confidence heading into the postseason. Now, let's compare Crosby to some other top edge rushers in the league. When you look at sack totals, Crosby's 10 sacks might not be the absolute highest this season, but his consistency, combined with his run defense and overall disruptive presence, makes him stand out. Players like Maxx Crosby are rare, those who can affect the game in multiple ways, not just with sacks. In terms of value, Crosby's contract makes him one of the most cost-effective elite pass rushers in the NFL. For a team like Dallas, which has been known for its strategic cap management, that's a huge advantage. And if we look at other teams that have made big trades for defensive stars, the return on investment often pays off when those players can elevate the entire unit. So what are the prospects? Well, there's a lot of speculation. Will the Raiders be willing to part with Crosby, or will they hold on to him in hopes of competing in the near future? The Raiders have been in a bit of a rebuild mode, and with a new coaching staff and roster adjustments, they might see trading Crosby as a way to accelerate their rebuild or clear cap space. For Dallas, the question is whether they're willing to part with their valuable draft capital. The potential rewards, however, are enormous. A line with Micah Parsons and Maxx Crosby could be one of the most feared in the league, and that could be the missing piece to push Dallas over the top. Now, let's think ahead. If Dallas does make this move, how would it impact their draft strategy in 2026? Would they be willing to sacrifice one of their first-round picks? Or would they try to negotiate to avoid giving up too much? Also, how would Crosby fit into the team's existing scheme? The Cowboys have historically run a 4-3 defense, with a focus on pressure from the front four. Crosby's skill set aligns perfectly with that philosophy, and his presence could allow the defensive coordinator to be more aggressive, perhaps even dialing up more blitzes, because of the added stability on the edges. And what about the locker room? Bringing in a player of Crosby's caliber and leadership qualities could have a positive ripple effect. Players like Micah Parsons are young and hungry, and having a veteran presence like Crosby could help elevate the entire defense's mentality. It's also worth considering how this move would be perceived by fans. Would they be excited about adding a proven star? Or concerned about giving up draft capital? As always, fans are passionate, and their reactions will be a mix of optimism and cautiousness. In conclusion, this potential trade scenario involving Maxx Crosby is one of the most intriguing stories of the NFL offseason for the Cowboys. It encapsulates the strategic thinking, the desire to win now, and the long-term planning that defines Dallas's approach. Whether it happens or not, it's a conversation worth having because it highlights what the Cowboys are capable of when they're willing to make bold moves. The next few weeks will be crucial. Will Jerry Jones and the front office pull the trigger? Or will Crosby stay in Vegas, continuing to terrorize quarterbacks? Either way, the story isn't over, and the implications could reshape Dallas's defense for years to come. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and IT makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Cowboys' future hinges on making smart, bold decisions. The potential acquisition of Crosby is not just about adding a player. It's about sending a message to the league and to our opponents that Dallas is serious about contending. It's about building a defense that strikes fear in the hearts of quarterbacks and makes the entire team more confident. The question remains, will Jerry Jones and the management team see the same value we see in Crosby? Or will they hold onto their draft picks and continue to build through the draft? Either way, one thing is clear, the next few weeks are going to be exciting for Cowboys fans. We'll be watching every move, analyzing every rumor, and dreaming about what could be. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. Do you believe a trade for Maxx Crosby makes sense? Or do you think the price will be too high? Would you be willing to see a first-round pick go for a player who could change the entire defensive front? These are the questions that keep us all talking and speculating. But one thing's for sure, this story isn't over yet, and the coming weeks could bring some surprises. So stay tuned, keep the faith, and let's see what the Cowboys' future holds. Thank you so much for sticking with us through this deep dive into the potential Maxx Crosby trade saga. Remember, in the NFL, the offseason is just as exciting as game day, and every move can alter the course of a team's destiny. Whether Crosby joins Dallas or remains in Vegas, one thing is certain. The Cowboys are always in the mix, pushing to be the best. Keep supporting, keep believing, and we'll be right here breaking down every twist and turn along the way. Until next time, this is your dedicated Cowboys analyst signing off. Stay safe, stay passionate, and as always, go Cowboys.